Moving on, European Union has initiated the formal accession talks with Ukraine and Moldova in Luxembourg. And this 2 years after both countries applied for membership in the wake of the Russian invasion on Europe's eastern flank.
Now, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky hailed the step as historic, saying that it is one that bolsters Kyiv's hopes to be incorporated officially into the 27-member bloc. The talks kicked off in 2 consecutive intergovernmental conferences with the European Commission and the rotating presidency of the Council. Currently held by Belgium, presiding the Ukrainian delegation is led by Deputy Prime Minister and European Integration, that is Olga Stefanishyna. She described the decision to join EU as one behind which all the European nations stand as one.
This is a truly historical moment for my country. All the nation stands as one behind this decision, and indeed it's a very solid milestone of Ukraine's future membership in European Union, but also the future development of Ukraine. Just 2 years ago, on 23rd of June 2022, European Union said that they will stand with Ukraine as long as it takes, and now this is the first promise implemented.
Even as Kyiv realizes its dream of finally making to the negotiations table, the joining is likely far-fetched and years away. Now, Ukraine's path to accession is complicated by the war. This means that the country at this stage can work progressively towards meeting preconditions for an entry.
But the enlargement process will entirely depend on how fast the hostilities with Russia cease and the post-war reconstruction efforts begin.
Well, on the other hand, Kyiv's corruption indices render it unprepared for meeting accession criteria in contrast to recent entrants like Romania and Croatia.
Hungary, a steadfast ally of Russia's President Vladimir Putin, has dropped its opposition to Ukraine's graduation to the EU membership for now. But Budapest has cast doubts about the European Commission's assessment that Ukraine is ready. EU granted candidate status to Ukraine in June last year in what was described as a watershed moment. It agreed to open accession talks in December 2023.
While starting on the long path to EU membership is a huge boost to morale in the embattled country, on the prospect of freezing war on the front lines, this is what Ukrainian presidential advisor had to say.
To freeze the war at the current front lines where the active fighting is taking place would be strange, as it is Russia that is on the territory of Ukraine. It is Russia that has violated international law, and freezing the war at the current front lines will not stop the war as such. It will only prolong it.
Kyiv says that any peace plan for Ukraine for cessation of hostilities should be fair and based on international law.
I would like to reiterate that Ukraine has an absolutely clear understanding, and it is spelled out in the peace formula proposed by President Zelensky. It is clearly stated there that peace can only be fair and peace can only be based on international law.
Meanwhile, during the opening remarks, Ukrainian Prime Minister said that Ukraine understands that there's more work to do.
We will do everything within our power to achieve this. We fully understand that there is still much work ahead of us on the path to accession. We are ready for it.
The conference in Luxembourg only marks the launch of talks. The formal negotiations are unlikely to begin for a few months. The Intergovernmental Conference has officially started the process of aligning the country's laws and standards in line with the 27-nation bloc's 35 policy areas known as the chapters, which range from judicial rights, security, free movement of goods, fisheries, energy, taxation, environment, and more. As the preparatory work is underway with dozens of institutional and legal reforms in the making, Ukraine hopes to join the bloc by 2030.